Hey, what's going on, everyone? Back with some knife content. Haven't shown my face for a while, but figured it was time for me to make some amends on what's been going on with me and my collection, and why I really haven't been reviewing many knives recently. I did end up taking a little bit of a break for about a month from social media, which was good, just to kind of like reconnect with my family, and I also ended up getting surgery on my jaw, and I've just been kind of in the hurt locker for the last month or two, but I'm getting back up on the saddle and getting back into things. The first topic that I wanted to discuss was just the knife market, and like any hobby market right now, it is just soft as shit. I mean, you can, if you have cash to put down on a knife or something else, you can really get anything you want on the secondary market for a song, which is, it's not great for selling knives or for people that want to try knives out, but if you are in the market to buy something, it's a really great time to be collecting knives. And with that, my first word of caution would just be, because I do see it all the time, and I've been trying to be very strategic about which knives I buy, but I would just kind of like, unless you've actually tried out a knife and know that it'll work for you, anything you buy right now through until things change as far as the economy goes, I'd plan to hold on to it. You really don't want to be taking a bath on things that you're spending money on, and like I said, it's a buyer's market. Plenty of trades to be had out there, but I would say the lower end knives, so even the Chinese OEM, like below $300, you're not seeing a lot of those sell for cash. It's really a lot more trade, so just something to think about. The next part of this making amends is just going to be what I've seen on the primary market or buying new. The example that I'll use is Mcnees, or even CRK for that matter. What we've seen is in the past, when either a Mcnees drop would happen or a CRK drop would happen, you had to be really, really quick and kind of Johnny on the spot. You had to make sure you had really good Wi-Fi to be able to get a piece before they sold out. But we're not seeing that anymore. I mean, certainly Mcnees, I think they've upped their production. They're doing everything in-house now, which is really cool to see for an American manufacturer. But even CRKs or other quote unquote drops that happen, you kind of have hours to decide if you want one or not, as opposed to, I would say, 6 to 8 to 10 months ago, where you really had to have your shit in order, and you had to be quick, fast, and in a hurry to grab something. So that's definitely a change that we've seen. I live in California, and so I get hit with a 10% state tax, and then 3% municipal tax. So I usually don't buy knives on the primary market, but what I've seen is people in the groups that I belong to, they'll drop a picture of, hey, DLT just dropped this, whatever, and even if it is a couple hours old, I'm able to click on that link and the knives are still there to be had. So just keep that in mind. I think the market is kind of flooded right now. If you can bear to get something on the secondary market and you have cash in hand, cash in your PayPal, you can get whatever you want for lower prices than I've ever seen since I've been doing this. All right, the next topic that I wanted to cover, I haven't talked about this yet, but so Chris Reeve, they recently released the 2023 annual, which I was schooled a little bit on it. I guess they haven't released one in about 10 years, but I just have to say, after seeing the pictures of it, my box elder, the inlay on it looks way better. I don't know what they were doing. I mean, I think the only way you would buy one of those, or would have bought one, there's two types of people. One, if 2023, there was some monumental event that happened, you got married, you had a kid, whatever, that could be a cool homage to the year 2023, because it does say it on the on the scale. But other than that, like, I really think you could do better by buying one of the other more extravagant, less coveted inlays, like the box elder. I mean, even the bog oak looks better to me. It was just kind of a weird thing that was released, and I thought that it was interesting that so many of them showed up on the secondary market. So it's been 10 years. You'd think the people that bought them were buying them to collect them, when really I'd say the vast majority of the people that picked up the plain Jane, realizing that they did release a Damascus version, but there was only a handful of them. I mean, we're talking about 5 to 7 or something like that. But the normal MagnaCut annual from Chris Reeve, I saw a ton of them on the secondary market, and people were at some points asking 200 over retail, which I think that's kind of like I don't know. It's like one of those like reverberations from how the knife market used to be. Like maybe people thought, hey, I got in on this Chris Reeve annual, I'll be able to make $200, easy day, whatever. That's not the case. Like the market is flooded with them. Do not pay over retail for, someone who just bought a Chris Reeve annual and they're trying to flip it. So Chris Reeve annual, first time we've seen that in a while. The next topic that I wanted to cover with this making amends was just the status of my collection. I don't know. I mean, the cool thing about collecting knives, or in my case, it's like knives and watches and things of that nature, is, if you do need to move what I call my fun money around, move funds around, it's pretty easy to sell things and then have cash to do what you want to do. I just found I really wasn't carrying a lot of the knives that I own, so I had been working to sell them, and my collection is definitely smaller. I still have more of the special ones in my collection. I kept my Chris Reeve, that 31 that I made in carbon fiber in Damascus. Also still have my Strider, and quite a few other ones that I just, I like them for what they are, but they're not worth me even trying to sell. So I'm talking to the tune of like, my Berg Iron Wolf, Spyderco's, certainly my Lone Wolves. I'm still collecting them. Just ones that aren't even worth the ass pain to list and have people nickel and dime you about things. I don't know. That's kind of where my collection's at. But when I got social media back, there were a couple knives that I had been thinking about. The first one is going to be the Mcnees Mac 3.5, which I just happen to have in my pocket. So this is a hollow ground MagnaCut, and I think they call this like green, but it doesn't look green at all. Like, I mean, you look at it, it just looks stonewashed, but pretty heavily stonewashed. I picked this up for under retail because, I have owned several Mcnees knives. I love the fact that they're made in the US, which, as an aside, it was kind of funny. I guess someone had commented in a different group, not even the Mcnees main group that I belong to, but was basically like, oh, there's no way they're made in America, whatever. And then basically Jonathan Mcnees made a video, kind of as a rebuttal to that, saying these are definitely all made in America. It was just kind of like petty, and I think like, the quote that came to mind was, the lion like isn't concerned with the thoughts of the sheep kind of thing. And I just thought that it was funny. Like, I wonder why Jonathan Mcnees felt like he had to defend the fact that his knife was made in America to, some random person on Facebook. I don't know. Hopefully he gets to a point where he just doesn't give a shit and he's just like, oh, that's cute that you think that. Like, this is like, I'm running a business. This is my livelihood. This is what I've put all of my efforts into. Like, I wouldn't concern myself with just some random person saying shit on Facebook, to be honest with you. But I did end up getting this Mcnees because, I've owned a couple of them. I thought about it. Devin let me borrow his hollow ground one. I was like, hey, I'll grab another one. And then, as you can see here, and I'll post a picture, I ended up doing their machine. So it's like a machine backspacer here, because before it kind of resembles the thumb studs, and they're just little backspacers. Like bolsters, but I thought it was kind of funny. Like, in keeping with the atomic green, I think it's called, I got the same kind of machined backspacer, and it almost reminds me of like what brass does when it oxidizes. So I wouldn't necessarily call it green or anything like that, but in true me fashion, I ended up upgrading this knife. I do like it. The balance is a lot better now, I would say, having a little bit more weight on the backside. This one is running skiffs. I still really like, even though it is hollow ground, I don't really like the thumb studs that much, which I know you can get new ones. I find them fairly small, and if a day or two goes by where I don't actuate this knife, it does get really sticky, where you're just kind of like wrenching on this thing, even though certainly my finger isn't on the lock bar. Sometimes it does get stuck, and that can be frustrating. I would like to give like a shout out to Mcnees though, because I ended up buying, when I was holed up in my surgery, I ended up buying this backspacer as well as a deep carry clip for this, which is not on there because I don't necessarily like the one that I got, but I had originally ordered a shorter pocket clip that it didn't distinguish whether it was for the 3.0 or the 3.5, but I ordered a short, you know, carry clip for it, and it came in, and it actually, this lock bar cutout, it kind of only went to there, so it didn't provide any sort of support in my pocket. The website didn't kind of distinguish that it was only for a 3.0. I just thought, cool, I'll get like a shorty no-show pocket clip. That'll be really cool. But you know, I reached out to Mcnees. They were like, no drama, just send us that one back, we'll send you a new one. And I did get the new one in. I just haven't installed it yet. I actually like how this is running right now, so who knows, maybe it'll just go in a parts drawer. But you know, this was one of those knives, the Mcnees 3.5, that I don't know, I wanted to revisit it again, and I'm impressed with it. It's one that I carry pretty often, and one that I think I'll keep in my collection, but we'll see. I need to stop saying that I'm going to keep things in my collection, because if history repeats itself, I never do. But in the interim, it's in my pocket. The other knife that you know, I had multiples of that I decided to sell and then inevitably ended up buying back because I did miss it was the Something Obscene J Cape, and I've owned a couple of them, both the 3-inch and the 3.5. I sold my partially dressed 3.5 group J Cape, and I did miss it. I think that it's a great knife, but there are some downsides to owning that knife. Again, it is a Chinese OEM. I believe Reeve makes it. I'll get flamed if I get it wrong. I'm pretty sure they do, but the fit and finish, the feeling of the knife, I've reviewed several of them on my page. It really sticks with me. It's a great all-around knife, and I love it. But the first J-Cape that I bought from the group, which again, the Something Obscene Facebook group, like the main one, those guys are animals. Like, they're great. Like, when you see the economy dipping down, whatever, like if you have a really nice piece that's for sale, someone's gonna scoop it, and I think that that's cool. Like, it kind of you know, it transcends what the market is doing. Like, if you have a really nice piece, you put it up for sale at a, you know, good price, like a competitive price, someone's gonna scoop it. And I can't say that for, I mean, I can't think of any other brand right now that sells like Something Obscene. But I ended up getting a J-Cape. It was the same member J-Cape, but there was some Detent Rock. When the blade was closed, you could kind of pick it up and, you know, close the blade a little bit. I just thought that maybe the detent was broken. I ended up looking at it. I'll post a couple of pictures of it, but it almost looked like the ceramic detent was rounded out. And I didn't know this, but this guy Chris, that's on Something Obscene's Facebook page, which is a nice look, he actually does all the warranty work in the United States for Something Obscene, and he said, hey, you can send it to me. And you know, there's a ton of people that mod knives now. I mean, anyone that has an Amazon account can buy a laser engraver and go to town kind of thing, but this guy does really good work. And the coolest thing about it is, you know, any work that he does doesn't void the Something Obscene warranty, which we'll get to that in a second. But I sent it to him, and prior to doing so, I ended up seeing a J-Cape version 4 that I really liked, and ended up scooping it. And the guy was like, hey, like, you know, I also do like, you know, I can do laser engraving, etc. And I was like, oh, I just have this like old group J-Cape that needs some work done. I'd love to get it laser engraved. I think he charged me $40 to do it. Sent it to him, he laser engraved it, and then, you know, the guy Chris from Serpent's Run, he was like, yeah, for $30 I'll take a look. I can put a new detent ball in there, whatever, see if that fixes the issue. I sent it to him, he got it in. He said, first of all, the warranty is voided because there is the laser topographical map lasered into just the scales. Like, nothing was touched on the internals or anything like that, which I think it's kind of crappy. And I want to, like, as part of this making amends, say that I totally understand if somebody changes the function of a knife, it should not be covered under warranty. But if you're literally taking titanium scales and doing some, you know, work to it, if you write your name in it and get it engraved, whatever, I don't think that should automatically void the warranty. It did. I was like, all right, cool, like, whatever. I didn't pay like anything for this knife because of the detent issue, and come to find out, Chris told me that it actually looks like someone tried to use needle nose pliers and pull the ceramic detent out, which I can't for the life of me understand why you would ever need to do that. There's a Torx bit or a Torx screw that you can kind of take the lock bar apart to be able to get the detent out. He was like, hey, we can try, but at the end of the day, the ceramic, since it's harder than the 20 CV steel that the blade is made out of, it actually etched a canal or like a channel into this thing, and it's probably not going to fix it. And so I asked him, I said, hey, like, okay, it's out of warranty, which, by the way, the warranty is only good for 30 days to the original purchaser. So if you buy, like, I love J-Capes, I love something Obscene, that's a hard pill to swallow, 30 days. And oh, by the way, even if you can stomach pain for the repairs, I told him, I was like, hey, what's it gonna take? Like, can you throw a new blade on there, whatever? He said, no, there's no replacement blades available for it. So that really blows. And I like something Obscene J-Capes better than I like the Mcnees 3.5, but bet your bottom dollar, if I needed a new blade and was like, hey, yep, what's it gonna cost me? I like this knife, it's worth it to me to get it fixed. Jonathan Mcnees would have another knife because they're all made in-house. The problem when you go to Chinese OEM, I mean, any something Obscene, you could have a beautiful like Zircuti, Damascus blade, whatever. If you break that, even if you have the funds to pay for it, they're not able to replace that blade. So just take that with a grain of salt. It was kind of a hard pill to swallow. Again, I'm happy I'm getting that J-Cape back. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, my primary concern would be it opening in my pocket since there's no detent basically to hold the blade in. It might just be a paperweight. I was stupid trying to save money. I think I paid $275 for it, brand new. It was close to $500. So one of those things, I mean, you kind of, you bet on black, sometimes it goes red. So that might be what that one's chalked up to. But I did get a V4, and I just wanted to foot stomp if you are interested in looking at something Obscene knives. I wouldn't waste your time with like the Lex, any other model. Go with the J-Cape. The version 4 is absolutely beautiful. I had never handled one before, but it's a great solid knife. So if you can get one kind of from the source, again, you have 30 days for the warranty. If you end up dropping it while it's open and you end up breaking the tip off the blade, you are shit out of luck. But if you can stomach it, I think that it's still a great knife, but you have to take into account kind of the shortcomings of that. The next topic that I wanted to cover, which I'll end here, but I just wanted to talk about like the secondary market and as far as like sales etiquette goes. I did a video a while back about, USPS lost my knife and who's actually at fault, but there's been some pretty substantial debates that I've kind of witnessed, and I have put my 2 cents in, but when I looked into shipping issues and lost packages, etc., the resounding theme that I received from people that commented was that no, I mean, like, if you buy a knife from somebody on the secondary market, like the seller who has the product, they're responsible for that knife until it gets in the hands of the person that spent their hard-earned cash to get it there. But there was some like consternation, a little bit of like ulterior views there on that, but from what I've seen, I mean, the situation that was presented before us was basically that a knife got lost, and the guy was basically asked to pay for the knife. I think they ended up like splitting it, but at the end of the day, like, if you and I'm usually good about telling, like, just having a conversation with somebody back and forth in their Facebook messages. But if you get any sort of weird feelings about the person that you're even selling a knife to, pay the extra money, whether it's doing a higher level of like USPS for shipping, or more importantly, definitely getting that signature confirmation. Just do that. It's a couple of dollars here and there, and it can really avoid some headaches, because it's like kind of goes back to that old adage, like, you might be right, but you'll be dead. People are really quick these days to kind of disparage people's their reputation online, and I wouldn't want to see that happen. So do your due diligence. If you get like kind of weird, like, oh, this guy it seems a little bit flaky, whatever, might try to pull the wool over my eyes. It's definitely worth paying the extra couple dollars to I mean, definitely get it insured for the value of the knife, but more importantly, that signature confirmation. So somebody actually has to sign for it. That can definitely save your ass. So, you know, appreciate y'all tuning in. I just wanted to show my face here, kind of talk about what's been going on. Next for me, I do actually want to get another CKF Evo. I've owned 2 of them and ended up selling them. I think that that's one that I want to have in my collection, so I'm going to be after that one. But other than that, I'm not really looking at anything. If you guys have any suggestions on knives that I should check out, please look through the videos I've done before, because I don't want to have like a repeat offender, but definitely looking to check out some new knives. I guess kind of the general theme of this entire thing is, you know, if you have cash and you're looking for something, I would stay away from the primary market, realizing you can get brand new in box, whatever. Look on the secondary and really wheel and deal, kind of put the screws down. Like, I mean, keep in mind, if you have cash, you're willing to put money down on a knife, you hold the power. So pick up some sweet knives for not much money. But yeah, well, hopefully I'll have a few knife overviews coming up. I think I will review that Something Obscene version 4. I have a couple like Gucci like accent kits for it coming in, so I'm gonna get those installed before I review it. But yeah, things are good. Hope everything is going well with all of you. Take care. We'll see you next time.